Many thanks to DayZ Podcast, Pandemonium, Fearless Reaction Vanilla servers, Atlas, Mutated Jurassic Outbreak servers, one original DayZ servers, Dust Vanilla servers, Sheriff Line, Apocalypse Now server, Sauerkraut, and Survival Instinct Vanilla server for making this video possible. DayZ 1.22 is fully released, so here's my 30 juicy tips for this patch. A single punch is now 20% weaker than it was last patch, but now has a low chance to cause bleeding. Making somebody bleed with your bloody hands won't give them any sort of infection or disease that you have. The white fingerless version of the wall gloves has been added, and now wall gloves can be cut into one rag when used with a knife. Chainmail now 100% protects against melee attack bleeds, but cannot be used as a substitute in gas zones. The fire axe is now the only melee weapon in DayZ that can one-hit all infected with a heavy attack in the head. Beware of the mace and sledgehammer, as the heavy attack can one-hit KO players very easily. Any gear that offers any kind of shock protection will protect you from getting one-hit KO'd by these weapons. Gear with shock protection includes items like the firefighter gear, hunting gear, field jacket, and the Vider's jacket. Nearly all armor in DayZ now has a decent level of melee protection like chainmail, vests, and helmets. The motorbike helmet was significantly buffed in this patch, providing nearly 3 times the protection against melee attacks from infected and players. All gear now takes 3 times more damage from infected attacks, ruining your gear much faster this patch. Melee attacks from players, ballistic attacks, bolt attacks, and explosive attacks don't do any more damage to gear. The stats only change for melee and infected protection to our characters. Sharp melee weapons got huge shock damage nerfs in this patch, making blunt weapons much better against players. However, blunt weapons got a major health damage nerf in this patch, making them weaker against infected. Nearly all blunt weapons can now cause bleeds on players, but all gear now protects us more from the chance of getting a bleed from melee and infected attacks. The best melee weapon in DayZ, the sword, got nerfed so it's as good as a wood axe, with weapons like the shovel being better than both of these against players. Fresh spawns beware, because infected on the coast do more damage, good melee weapons will spawn less, and gear protects us less from melee attacks from infected. Animals now have a huge hitbox when they die, so don't get yourself stuck inside any buildings with doorways. The bullet hitbox of animals hasn't changed at all though. The flesh surface type on animals is really good at protecting us from bullets and explosives. Even though the hitbox stops players from moving through it, vehicles can travel straight through the animal hitbox still. This new animal collision hitbox only blocks players in the case of the cow and the bear. All other animal hitboxes can be passed through. Players that are unconscious will now take full damage, and the minimum amount of time that someone can be unconscious now is 2 seconds. All large capacity backpacks now spawn 50% less in this patch, but the god tier tactical backpack spawns 400% more. You can now craft a 20 slot backpack using a rope and a dry sack, which you can dismantle later without losing any of the ingredients. Metal wire and barbed wire cannot be used to craft this, but you can get a rope by combining 2 full stacks of rags together or using a knife on guts. The generator can be repaired with a blowtorch now, but all items that contain fuel will spawn with a lot less in this patch. Beware of fire barrels. The hitbox was removed a few patches ago, but this patch introduced fire damage when you're too close to them. Fire damage not only ruins your pants and shoes, now it damages all of your gear near the fire and even the item that's currently in your hand. The thirsty lip slap sound from last patch from being too thirsty no longer gets stopped when you add certain headgear, and even the mouth gag no longer stops this sound from playing. When logging out on a ladder, you will now be correctly teleported when you switch to another server.
Bonus tap!
If you're looking to lower your vehicle in DayZ, simply park it in a doorway, close the doors, and throw an object at it to flex those custom springs. For more details, you can check out my hidden changes video for this patch here, going over the 17 changes that everybody should be aware of from 1.22. Thank you very much for watching, and have a good patch.